And we are live.
Hockey Nation fans, welcome back to the special edition of the Hockey Nation live show with your host, Coach Frenchy. And we have to go all the way to the West Coast to find someone. Someone is a Saturday morning. He's still awake and he's called, and we name him Michael Devillano. Oh,
Big day, Pierre. The World Junior
it's
Hockey.
the day. I think, that's the day where is going to move on to the semifinal, all the winner. We have 4 different game, 12 o'clock, 3:30, 7 o'clock, 10:30 tonight. I think all 4 games, the biggest game for me is going to be between Finland and Sweden. That's really what I'm looking for.
That for sure to me is the toss-up game because I on paper you'd think Sweden, but I don't ever underestimate the Finns. So we'll talk about it, but I think that's gonna be the toughest game of all of them.
I think so too. I think it's really the one where it's going to be the big one over there. So really interesting to see what's going happening. And it starts in 38 minutes.
I know. I'm just excited that we get to see hockey all day for the first time, and hopefully it just keeps carrying on in January.
Absolutely. I think it would be very interesting to see that. The first game of the day, of course, is the Team Russia. Play at 12 o'clock today.
Yeah, the Germans we've seen have definitely improved since they got a decent goalie, but I think that Russia's going to pick that goalie apart. He's still sub 900. I think it's going to be a rough day for the Germans. It'll be our last day probably to really see Tim Stützle at a high level.
Yeah,
the top line is very good, as we know. Peterka, what's his name? Florian, Eliash, and Stützle are excellent. The one defenseman, Zimmerman's pretty good, but after that, it really drops off. So I think it's going to be a rough day for Germany.
Again, it's all about, the difference between those teams, right? The best team in this league and this tournament versus the one who struggle more. And I think that's the way you can sit every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. This is where we really start to see the best level of hockey, and everyone's going to have to be on their game. And those little mistakes and the differences in the lineup are really going to be accentuated. So I think it's going to be rough. I'll try to enjoy seeing Tim Stützle before he goes to Ottawa, because that's what the next thing I'll be excited about, seeing him. And I'm very, very curious to see the path of Peterka after this.
Yeah, definitely. The level he plays right now, I don't see why he cannot make the NHL for the upcoming season.
It kind of looks like he's that good, Now we know, obviously, Buffalo is a lot deeper than they were. It's funny because in camp, we've got the injury for Buffalo we'll talk about with Eichel and Casey Middlestad, who we totally are writing off, which he's playing with Hall right now in camp. So this is how deep they are. And I think Dylan Cousins has got to be on that lineup. And you look at Peterka, you go, he can play in that lineup. So they're interesting.
I agree with you. I think, this game, of course, Russia have too much depth. They have too much good player talent, skill-wise compared to Germany. Yeah. Maybe we don't have the best player on the ice at that game, right? Because we just talk about Tim, but at the end of the day, overall, they are, from the goalie, from defenseman, and then go all the way to the forward. I think Russia have too much depth for gave Germany to compete with them. But again, I think it will be a game like maybe 5-6, 5-5, 5-1, 5-2.
Yeah, I think it'll be like 6-1 or something.
That could happen for sure.
Now, the one thing I will say, we have seen where Germany's getting blown out and that line scores anyway, and they get 2 or 3 goals. Like the Finland game, I think was like 5-3 before an empty netter, right?
Yeah.
So because that was a pre-tournament game, or no? I think they had a game where they came back and scored like
Germany.
Yeah.
It was the game they was against Switzerland. They was winning.
That's what it was. That was it was before that. It was a game before that I saw. Anyways, maybe I'm mistaken, but I think Germany will get like a goal maybe if they're lucky. They're not going to get much past this goalie.
Yep, I agree with you. The second game of the day is you have to go with the big game of the day. I think that's the one at 3:30 is going to be the most. I'm going to watch the most of the full game. Be very pay attention. Finland versus Sweden, two team. They have a really beginning of the tournament, very solid. Two first game, maybe one of the two team was really dominate. I think I was like Grace said, they maybe go all the way at the end, and then suddenly the last two games of the tournament, they struggle a lot more Sweden compared to Finland. But I think Sweden, I have no idea what's going on with them right now. But they got completely this. I think they got destroyed by USA first of all.
Well, I think we're seeing. I think we are seeing that they're missing a couple guys, and it's affecting them. Right? They're missing 3 forwards and a pretty darn good D.
I think Wallender is really the one they are missing.
What's that?
Wallander,
he's probably top 4 for them.
Yeah.
Their number 1 center is not there, but that shouldn't matter. There's a lot of depth there. We are not seeing good performances from guys we need to see from. Like, we need to see another level from Raymond and Holtz. They can't just be perimeter players and cute with the puck on the power play. Everybody knows that seam pass that they make, and they cut it off. Like, the better teams read it. So they've got to be a lot better than they've been. I don't know. They're on a 2-game losing streak. I was really surprised with the goalie's performance. So now the question is, which goalie do they go to? You would think they go to Avonstead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. But Wallsted's been the better goalie. Like, he's shown he's going to be a top pick next year. Like, I'm really high on him right now. So I don't know. I think I don't even know who the goalie is. Do you think they're going to go with the older goalie?
I think it will be it's very difficult because both of them, but I think it will be back with a regular one.
Yeah, that would be my assumption. It's probably his last shot. I think Finland is just a pain in the neck to play against. We saw one game where Lundell was not in it, and I don't think that's going to happen twice. So I believe that between Lambert, Lundell, and what's the other young guy? The Adurati. Like, they've got more than we're giving them credit for. Heinolo's real good. I think it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be 3-2. It might even be overtime. And I think that if I go with grit, I think Finland might come out on top and surprise us. Sweden should win it, but I'm not so confident in this team. They seem to be fading in the tournament.
I go with Sweden, and I think the reason I go with Sweden, I think, is also have to go back with the day off between both games. That we're helping. Remember, when you play again Russia, they lost and OT, I believe, 4-3. Then they have to play back-to-back with, again, USA team. And I think that's maybe, and again, it's not an excuse, but I think the fact they're going to have 24 hours rest, really, maybe see more videos, chalk talk, team concept, everything like that. I just believe Sweden have a little bit more advantage, a little bit. Now, again, you observed right at the beginning of your conversation where I said we need more from Lucas. We need more for...
we need way more from Holtz,
right? We know what Gunler did at the beginning, right? But Söderström should play at the level he's supposed to play. And then we know the depth of the forward at the front, everything like that. So we'll see what's happening there. But I think it's another one we have to follow up. But it's the game of the day. That's, for me, is the game of the day.
It's the biggest game of the day.
You know what I mean? We all expect the 3 other teams going to win their respective game. But at the end of the day, this one is, like you said, like you go with Finland. I go with Sweden. But it's a 50-50.
They could go either way. I mean, I think we've seen Finland get stronger and stronger. They were picked apart by Canada, but I think Sweden would be picked apart by Canada. I mean, Canada, when they turn it on.
Yeah. We have a good question for Michael K. Myers. I know we respond back-to-back with him. Thanks to follow up and thanks for the question. But here's a good question. I think you can talk about this. Which player that maybe to be on the radar have impressed you the most so far, Michael, since the beginning?
So I mentioned a few of them, and when we talked about Peterka and Gunler, Gunler's really good. I think Carolina got an absolute steal on this guy. We heard there was some kind of attitude issues with him. So assuming that's not going to fly at the NHL level, this guy's got NHL talent. Lambert's going to be a great pick in a year or two. The other guy that's really interesting, I think, is the 6'4" guy on, is it Slovakia? Juraj Slavkovsky, and he's not eligible until 2022.
Like Lambert.
Like Lambert. And he's 6'4", 215-pound forward who can really skate and handle the puck, and he's patient. And we see him out there with, him and Martin Chromiak, who play like Chromiak plays in Kingston. And if you don't know this name, he's been drafted by the Los Angeles Kings. Why it's important is because Shane Wright, who's the exceptional player, got two guys drafted in the NHL, Martin Chromiak and Zayden Wisdom. And we know that Shane Wright is 16, and he's already had 39 goals in the OHL. So he's going to be a star. He's already a star, and on a young, really talented Kingston team, and those guys playing his wing. So Chromiak's real good, and we see Slavkovsky is able to play with him and be very effective. So it's exciting to see that. The other guy on that team that's interesting is Mrazek. He's had a very good tournament, and he's just eligible for the next draft. And he looks like Jaromir Jagr. Have you seen him? He's got the hair big. He's that build. I'm not saying he's Jaromir Jagr, but he reminds you of Jagr. Like, he had the one play where he barreled to the net and pushed the D off in a classic Jagr move. So he's really interesting. So
it's a great question. Then I always said to you at the first level, right? You have those kind of Raymond and Tim, and then you can go that, the second level where I think Lambert, I think one you mentioned right there is called a Soderblom.
Soderblom is interesting.
Really, him is really the one I'm always impressed by this kid over there, I think. And then Peter Cobb behind Germany, because every time you talk about this, but if you don't talk only the questions about under radar, but I would said one player, he was great. We knew he would be good players, but he's elevated this game like anybody else. We have to go back with USA team, Zegras from the Anaheim Ducks pick, because listen, he is really one step over everybody else right now. He carry on the USA team. Without him, the USA team is not there at all.
For sure. This is an elite player that he's shown he can score. He's got like a lethal quick shot. He can set up plays. He's not big, which we knew. And coming out of that U.S. development program, the word was, because Jack Hughes went first overall, and he played on that same team, that it was like he's almost as good as Hughes, not as great a skater. And I think he might be better than Hughes. Like, from what I'm seeing right now, maybe not speed-wise, but man, he's smart and he can shoot the puck.
He's really impressive. I'll be honest with you. I'm really impressed by his not only his compete, but the way he played during this tournament. So congrats for him. Thanks, Michael, to join us. And thanks for your question. I'm not talking about Michael De Villano, but I'm talking about Michael K. Myers. Thanks again.
I wanted to mention one other guy, which is the defenseman on Czech Republic, who's eligible for the upcoming draft, the 6'4" defenseman, Svozil, Stanislav Svozil. And this guy's like 6'4". He can really skate. He's patient with the puck, and he's tough to play against. So he's an interesting defenseman that's going to come up in. And I think the other guy we should mention is the goalies, right? Was it the Austrian goalie that was like just destroyed, peppered? Sebastian Raniswet, and he's eligible for the upcoming draft.
Yeah, I really like Petonen.
From which, the Finland team?
Yeah.
Pironen?
Yep.
Yeah, and he's eligible for the upcoming draft.
And finally, before we move on, I think another player we behind is Florian Elias from Germany. I think we talked about Peter earlier and then Tim, but I think Elias complete really the trio of the Germany. So anyway,
he's eligible for the upcoming draft.
Yep.
Now I don't know what birth year he is, and he's real small, but his skill level is excellent. Like he's a good player.
I agree with you. I think he's going to make the draft for next season for sure. The game number 3 and game number 4. First game number 3 at 7:00 Eastern time. We have a Canada versus the Czech Republic.
I just want to mention one thing. So Florian Elias is in August 2002. So he would have been eligible for the last draft. And so he was totally passed over, this guy.
Wow.
Someone's going to grab him.
Maybe someone, yeah, exactly. I want to talk about game number 3, Canada versus the Czech. The Czech play against, they finished number 4 in the Pool B versus the top 1 in Pool A. That's how it works, the second round. Honestly, the question I would say to you today is more about the injury of New Hook. The last update in this, it was about 1 hour ago. It was a 50-50 chance to play today.
Why play? Just let him rest. Let him recover. I mean, it's not that important of a game. I think we're seeing Tomasino. It was going to benefit from the extra ice. Like he should be getting more ice time. And there's so many other players on this team that they are not as much as I want Newhook to play. And don't they have 7 defensemen?
Yeah. I think at that moment, like you said, absolutely agree with you. You know what I mean? I think that's the best way to do it. I think it would be better for him to rest for 1 game. They should be go all the way and away for the next level and next round. So I think it's a really great move if they put him on the press conference tonight, and then bring another players. They have also forward there too to go there. So it'll be impressive. See what Canada's coming back, but I think there will be another like a 5, 7, 8 that difference goal for today against Canada against the Czech.
You've got to think it will be.
Yep.
The only team that can beat Canada is Canada. So if Canada goes out thinking that this is easy and they want to have mercy, and we saw it, I think, late in the game against Finland, they laid off. Right? They backed off because they felt sorry, and the score was only 4-1. They should wreck this team.
But again, the first 10 minutes of this game, without the goalie from the Finland, at this game would be like 5-0 after 10 minutes. So I said, for me, you know what? They maybe sat down, say, you know what? We'll go to shut down more the third. Let's go play not on our hill, but let's go. Now go could get 4, 5, 6, but don't give 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's what I see that play of third period over there. And
it should be a destruction, but let's see what happens.
You never know. And then the last game late tonight, so we're going to bed late for the people in the Eastern time is going to be at 10:30. So we expect about 1:00 a.m. tonight. So I'm going to take a nap somewhere somehow before. But the USA team is going to play at the end of the day against Slovakia. Again, Slovakia finished number 4, and USA was number 1 on the Pool B. And that's another way, exactly what we just talked about Canada. That should be a game where USA should have no problem. Now, my concern about USA is you talk about Turcotte, you talk about
Kaliev.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. For some reason, I always talk about Kaziev, but Kaliev, and then also Caulfield. I think that those kind of players have to step up. We know what other player did. I think, you're hard on Turcotte. I think Turcotte is pretty good.
No, I don't mean to be hard on him. I think he's not fancy. I think we're seeing what he is, which is he's more like a 200-foot player that does all the little things well, and he's not going to wow you, and he's not going to get huge production. Now, he may eventually get production, but I think he's not like a Zegras.
Now, maybe I can be wrong. Maybe you can tell me what you think. When I see him, I'm always thinking about the kids from New Jersey Devils, Nico Hershiser.
I think Hershiser is more creative.
But do you feel like they are the same kind of prototype players, like the same kind of players?
I feel like he's closer to Barrett Hayton. I think he's like a Bergeron, or he's closer to Lundell right now for me. Like, Hischier is very creative and a good playmaker. I don't feel like he's a rugged player.
Yeah.
But I think Turcotte's very solid in the faceoffs, and he's going to be hard to play against, and you may not notice what he's doing. And then he gets points, and you're like, oh, that guy was there. And I think he's a glue guy, where to me, this does not look like a first-line center in the NHL, but he could be a real good second-line center.
Yep. So that's really conclude the day of the World Junior Championship. Of course, we will go back tomorrow about the resume of the 4 game for sure. Maybe during the day, maybe stop by. But I think my prediction, at least for today, is going to be Russia, Sweden, Canada, and USA.
Yeah, and I think the only thing I'm varying on is I kind of feel like Finland might pull it out.
Yeah.
But I think that game's going to be close.
Exactly.
If not, I'll be disappointed.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see those 4 games. We wish you everybody to take time to watch those. I think the last time you're going to see those 4 other formation. If you're looking like, Lundell maybe, or, Germany players or other organization, I think it would be great to do that. I really enjoyed what Marco Rossi did. He was thankful. He was grateful to be a part of that team. And he said the experience was amazing to be a part to represent a country. He was really happy about that. And it was nice to see a kid like that. You know what I mean? Like, they got this, really did not perform well. He just got destroyed by a better team, but still took advantage of this time and then to grow and to be a part of this. I think that showed the maturity Marco Rossi is. And I think it was a great, always said the words matters. I think it was nice to hear from a guy like him to thanks and to be thinking that way.
Yeah, I think he's as advertised, right? He played in the Canadian Hockey League for a reason. And it's because he probably would have had to play pro to get any level of hockey that he was capable of playing at. He's a character guy, and the thing on him is that he's very, very fearless and determined. And that's the word on him, right? Like, he's compared a lot to Marchand. So I think what he said is consistent with his character, and we're excited to see him in Minnesota.
That's great. I think that's conclude the show from today for the World Junior Championship. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be back in a few minutes to continue about the NHL. If you follow NHL, we are about 11 days for the first drop puck in NHL January 13th. And also, we're going to talk about all the training camps start yesterday. Some team like Detroit was on the ice yesterday. Yeah. And was nice to hear about Bobby Ryan and everything like that. So a couple of teams was on the ice. So let's see what we're going to bring on the table to give you all the information around the NHL. So don't go nowhere. We're going to be back in a few minutes. And thanks again to listening and watching our Hockey Nation live show. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and the Facebook page on the Hockey Nation live show. Anything else, Michael, before we go?
Nope. Looking forward to hockey.
Thanks again, everybody. Look forward to see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Time. Have a great Saturday, everybody.